Chapter 21. In Over Your Head. Ron was cursing Harry, Neville, and Genesis. Everyone 7 ways to hell. Hermione had all but begged him to come to this group that Harry and the others were forming to combat the no magic in class rule that Umbridge was so fond of. What he had found were the 3 outsiders that were now going to be the ones to be teaching them. He had then spent the remainder of the class running for his life, dodging fireballs being hucked at him with enough heat to melt solid metal walls. Then, just to add some more fun to this day, Harry had pitted them all against killer weeds that had nearly done their job in killing them all. As if to show off his superior skill, Genesis had fried the little bastards with what they said was a Fire 1 spell. If you can't even handle a few mandragora, you will be no match against a fully trained wizard. Or a mole for that matter. Cocky-ass son of a bitch. Let's see how cocky you are after this. Moving up into Dumbledore's office, he moved up to the beaming man. Mr. Weasley, what can I? Dumbledore fell silent as Ron placed a green materia on his desk. He wasn't the younger brother of the infamous Weasley twins for nothing. They called it materia, Ron said, but felt a sinking feeling in his gut when he saw the headmaster visibly pale and with shaking fingers picked up the green orb he had set down. Materia. Dumbledore's voice held awe as he looked over the orb, ancient magic that has been lost for thousands of years. Mr. Weasley, was the person you took this from able to wield this? Call forth its magic? Ron nodded, suddenly wary of the decision he had made. Yeah, Neville, Harry and that Rhapsodos guy all could. Harry could melt a wall with it and Rhapsodos had complete control over it. Albus regarded the boy in front of him, a frown pulling at his face. Where was this? He hadn't gotten any alarm of those men entering the castle. They were. Ron suddenly lost his face, his mind going fuzzy. Black started to creep into his vision, threatening to engulf him. Pulling out his wand, Albus quickly cast spell after spell, but nothing worked. He watched in shocked horror as Ron collapsed unconscious. Rushing over to the boy, he knelt down, setting a hand on his back. Feeling something warm and wet, Albus pulled his hand back, blue eyes widening in horror as blood now coated it. Quickly he pulled Ron's shirt up, his eyes taking in the huge slash marks racing across the boy's back, spelling out words he could not understand. Well, all but 2. At the very bottom it read in plain old English, Crimson Weapon. So in other words, he told. Sephiroth was absently tapping his quill on the table in the Gryffindor common room. The parchment had been spelled that if someone tried to talk it would hurt the person enough so that they got the picture. He wasn't sure exactly what Genesis had done, but it was obvious it had worked. Ron had been released from the hospital wing not too long ago, but had been taken home for an unknown amount of time. The wound on his back refused to heal. The most they had been able to do was get the bleeding to stop, but the wound itself would not close. They also could not lift the curse that kept him from speaking about the army. He attempted to tell, and one of my materia is missing. Sephiroth was sitting alone in the back corner, talking quietly over the Mako-powered radio with Genesis. He is the younger brother of Zack and Reno. Would not surprise me if he learned to steal in the process. This time he will learn. If he does not, that wound will never heal. You really do dislike Ron, don't you? Seph heard a snort from the other end of the connection. I see what the boy does around you. His jealousy even exceeds my own when it comes to you. That's comforting. Even though it was said in a dry tone, Sephiroth was smiling, still taping his quill on the table. Shut up, Seph. Chuckling, Sephiroth shook his head, running his fingers along the feathers of the quill, a quill made of his lover's own feather. Soon enough this year will be over. We'll find Snakeface and destroy him. We can find some place quiet, just the group, forget the world exists. After 9,000 years, that sounds nice. So what exactly did you put on that parchment? He could hear Genesis laughing softly. Something a mortal will never be able to break. The forest was silent as the figure swept through it silently, bright purple robes billowing around his feet as he swept through the underbrush. The sound of hooves striking the ground caused the old wizard to stop and turn, a bright smile crossing his aged face. "Albus Dumbledore, what brings you into the forest?" A silver-blonde centaur moved slowly out into the clearing the ancient stood among, eyes watching him warily but not friendly. For Albus Dumbledore to come into the forest, into their territory when the stars have foretold the rebirth of the nightmare, it did not bode well. "My old friend, I have need of your assistance once more. As of recently, strange messages in a language I cannot understand have been appearing on attack sites." Reaching into his robe, he withdrew the words he had copied down and held them out to the centaur. They were the keepers of old. If anyone knew it, they would. Taking the parchment, Firenze's eyes slightly widened. He looked to Albus. "Are you sure these are the exact words?" Now he was starting to get nervous. It was not often he got a startled look from the normally elusive centaur. Yes, one was on the side of the Daily Prophet after it was destroyed. The second was painted on the wall of Dolores Umbridge office after it was pranked. And the last was carved into my student's back in a wound that refuses to heal. He was reaching the end of his rope. He had no idea what was going on anymore and didn't know how to heal Ron. Firenze's eyes slowly moved over the letter, reading over it once more. "This language is of the ancients, a language only known to certain magical creatures. It has been lost to humans. Your first message, the one you claim, was from the destroyed ministry-governed building. It says I must not tell lies." A dark frown crossed Albus' face. That attack had been just after the false article had been released on Harry. "What of the other two?" "The second message sounds more childish, like the Torah teenager taunting. Mess with the best, die like the rest. This is warning 1, don't fuck with the Turks." Albus blinked as the name Turk registered with him. He had heard Fred calling George that playfully the other day at dinner. "Once a Turk, always a Turk. Harry Naha, you bet you. Live by the suit. Die by the suit." The final one. "Albus, you must heed this warning. This is your second and last warning. Stay out of our way. Crimson weapon." "Albus, do you know what crimson weapon is?" Albus didn't like this. He had no idea what a weapon was, and by the reaction it was getting from the centaur, it wasn't a good thing. "Albus, a weapon is a creature created by the very planet as a self-defense mechanism. If the planet believes that it is in danger, the weapons will awaken and protect the planet at all cost. We have felt them. 3 weapons walk these forests, Albus, and this," he held the paper out, "is a warning against whatever you are doing. You say they walk the forest. 3 of them." Albus really didn't like this. 3 strange men show up at Hogwarts, and now he is being told that there are 3 planet weapons walking this forest. Firenze pawed at the ground almost nervously, his eyes shifting in the shadows. "Yes, they appeared at the start of the school year. They have been reawakened once more and are waiting. Albus, whatever you are doing at your school, it needs to end. A weapon will destroy all that stand in its way of protecting the planet. And you are on your final warning."
I'm glad you enjoyed that video / gameplay. Just remember to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and leave a comment down below. Until next time, goodbye!